Alright, welcome back. Today we are looking at HTML images. What can we do with them? How do we use them? And we're going to look at images, the basics, some background images. Let's start off with the basics, which is an image tag. So the way an image tag works is img, and then we go equals, no we don't, we go src equals, and then we put a URL in here to our image. So you can see there, we had a little broken image tag for a minute, but it disappeared. I just had an image that I got from Pexels, and then I uploaded these to Imgur so we can get a nice clean link for these. And then you just go kind of copy image address once you've uploaded them here. You can actually just go copy image here, and then you can actually just paste them into Imgur and it will add them automatically. And then we just copy the image address, and that's my notes. And then we can paste it into this image tag. Yes, back to the image tag. This is an unclosed image tag, so we actually want to close it as well. And then just in case the image doesn't load, we will want to put an alt tag in here, and then this will actually give it a bit of text. If the image is broken for some reason, it will say what the image is. So we can say cup of tea. So then if this image is broken, if we put a broken link in here, like an X, it should actually then say broken image tag and then cup of tea. So then if the image is broken, you can still kind of see what it would be. I do have a few images to play around with here, so we'll just copy this here, and then I will put in my other image URLs in the end here. These are obviously not alt cups of tea. So you can see how these image tags actually sit next to each other because they are by default display inline. So they will display inline next to each other. We can change that to be a block if you want them to stack. So you could change all the images on here in your CSS to be display block. And then they should stack down the page, because then it is actually full width block element. Or you can go inline block, and then if you do inline block, you can then start adding some styles to these. So you can add padding right 10 pixels, and it should add a little bit of padding next to these images and that kind of thing. If you don't have display inline block, then it won't allow you to add padding to them. Or does it? Maybe it has a padding. Maybe padding does work with inline images. Now we can actually, as you can see, these images are not all the same height. So we can actually apply a height and a width to these. This will do obviously all of the images. Get rid of the padding here for the moment. And we can go height, let's just say 140 pixels, and this will probably squish them down to 140. But then if we put a width in there as well, say maybe 250 pixels, it will then squash our images, which we don't want. Let's actually make this height 250 as well, so they're nice and square. And if we want to make these images look unsquashed, because you can kind of see they're out of proportion there, you can actually use the object fit. This will keep the height 250 and width 250, but it will then scale the images, or not sure what the word is for that. It'll resize the images but keep them centered. So if we didn't have object fit cover, you can see it squashes them. So you can go from squashed, because it's squashing to 250 to 250. And if we go cover, it will actually then probably have some image here and some image here, just to kind of make them all nice and centered. So that is the basics of an image tag. If you wanted to actually add, you can add inline height and styles in here as well, if you wanted individuals, or you can add a class and do it a similar way. So you can go style equals height 240 pixels, and that should override this, as it is an inline style, and inline styles do override CSS unless you put important on your CSS. So I wanted this CSS to override this, and then I could add important, which is quite dangerous as it does override everything, and then that will force this back to 250 again. And then if I put important here, this will then override that, and then you can't override that anymore. Adding important is not really recommended, as it is quite hard to change your code later on if you start putting importance in all the time. It's much better just to look for the element and do it that way. Or if you wanted, you could actually add a class here, image1, very descriptive, and then we could actually add this same thing in image1 and make it a bit smaller if we wanted to, 240 and 240, and then that will still be object fit cover, but it's resize it a bit. All right, let's move on to background images. So you can actually use images within other elements. They don't have to be in an image tag, and the way we do this is by using them as a background. If we wanted to have a div element with an image in it and we use it as the background, we go div and then close div. Give this a class called image bg1. Now currently this div will be 0 by 0 pixels, so we wouldn't be able to see it. So we have to actually give this a height 100 pixels and a width 100 pixels, and we can actually set the background to maybe black so we can see where the div is. So this is our div that we're targeting. If we got rid of the height and width, it will disappear, so you won't be able to see anything. And then if we wanted to set this image as the background of this, we would then put in, instead of, well, we can actually put background, so this is the color, and then you'll put in URL and then brackets and some quotation marks, and then we paste in our image here, and you can see that this is actually grabbing this. Where is that? I don't know what that's grabbing. It's grabbing a weird part of this image. Oh, that's this image. So it's probably grabbing this top corner. So in here we can actually go background, size, and cover, and then it will squish this image into here. It's actually gotten this really big image if we removed all of these, but it's got that, and it's fitted into our div background, which is 100 by 100. If we want to size this as we have background size cover, you can also go background size contain, and it will then keep. Then we have an issue here because the image is this aspect, so it's kind of repeating here. So cover is better, usually, depends on your situation. Now we have this new-ish object fit attribute on the image. It is less useful to use this type of image. I was also going to use the picture element as well, where you can kind of give different sources of images, but I think that might be better for another video, as it is a whole thing in itself. Same with image map. So this will just be HTML images using the background image and then the basics of image elements. So yes, that is it. Thanks for watching, like and subscribe, and I will see you in the next video.